It's wonderful bringing together of the two cultures, or multicultures in one city, what makes it such a rich place to live. Montreal is an enormous attraction, but the fact that they're coming to a university where there will be plenty of students from various countries enriches the experience to a degree that is very difficult to experience at most universities. I think one of the strengths of McGill over its history, I guess, has been its ability to attract international scholars, if I can use that term, or scholars from around the world to come and teach here. And in turn, this attracted students from around the world to come and study here.
McGill was just ranked in the top 10 universities in the world, the only Canadian university to make that ranking.
McGill is snow in the winter and snowball fights after a long night at the library. McGill is meeting people from all around the world. McGill is Montreal, being right in downtown. But most of all, McGill is the people that make up this place.
You see the names of all those chemistry people in the textbooks, and you see the names of all the scientists and writers, Leacock, Rutherford and Bohr, that you see in your chemistry textbooks, and somehow you feel very detached from them. And then you come to McGill and you see the building named after them, and you realize that these are real people. These are people who, contributed to the entire world. But they went to McGill and they worked with McGill, and somehow to see that you feel sort of part of it, and it just makes you feel more comfortable about learning about the entire McGill community.
One of the interesting things is that the very beginnings of McGill are really the very beginnings of Montreal. Montreal was not a very old city when it started, way back 1821, when James McGill bequeathed to the Royal Institution for the Advancement of Learning his farm and his farmhouse and £10,000. The campus as we know it today is very, very much the same as it was at a glance at about the turn of the century. The older buildings, the one we're sitting in here today, and the Arts Building, and the Redpath Library, and the Redpath Museum, the old physics and chemistry buildings, were all built in exactly that, about a 10-year span, about 100 years ago. Since the turn of the century, the MacDonald campus has been a very integral part of McGill University. It's so different. It is a rural campus in the classic tradition of the small New England college on a rural site beside a small town, or the land-grant universities in the Midwest of the United States. The combination between the farm, the agricultural aspect of it, and then other areas of food science and the environment that take place there. It's a wonderful setting for that, and even physically, it's a very different place. Not only the placement of the buildings on a large piece of land and much more open spaces than, of course, the downtown campus would have.
I researched into it before I came here, and I heard that for graduate students, about 25% were international. And I just thought, great, because it's brain power, isn't it, coming from all over the world, and to sort of exchange ideas, and it's fantastic. I think it's a real eye-opener. It really is, especially when it comes to research.
By virtue of the fact that we're doing active research here, we have to be very much up to date with current techniques and technologies and methods, and that naturally translates into the courses. It translates into the courses first because we have to be on top of the things we're teaching, and secondly, we're excited by the new developments and we want to tell those to the students and communicate that, and so it's a very good relationship, a very nice tight linkage between research and teaching.
We're in a photonics lab that is a clean room facility that's worth upwards of $3-4 million. And one of my big reasons to come to McGill was because the department had made a significant commitment to initiating research in this area, and I knew that I would have the tools and the resources to do the research work that I'm interested in pursuing.
Saying, oh, look, this was just discovered yesterday, or this was just published yesterday. We're learning about it today. It's fantastic. No more textbooks. We're learning real stuff, real life. That's something that I don't think most, because of the fact that we're a research university, we have that opportunity, and we have the best professor teaching us.
McGill's preparation was very, very strong. In particular, I think it's stronger than most, if not all, of the American universities.
While the reputation of the university, which is normally gained by both the performance of its graduates and of its teaching and research staff, is extremely important in terms of our ability to get our graduates into graduate schools of their choice at the very top levels. And this is something we have always been able to do.
We think we've had a stimulating environment. We're looking for the next Nobel Prize winner, and maybe they'll come out of this next class. We'll know it in a number of years.
There is some perception that because the students here are academically serious, that they only have one side. There is not just a single aspect to McGill students. They do study hard, but they also play hard. And there's a lot to do at McGill. There's a lot to get involved in, and it's very important in terms of your educational experience, which is not all in the classroom by any means, for students to get involved in outside activities. And there's a great athletics program here. There are terrific clubs. There's lots to do.
Tons of political positions that you can run for if you want to be a senator or
We have a lot of sports as well. We play flag football here on the lower campus. We have broomball in the wintertime. We also have soccer.
The Student Society runs a frosh program. It's 3 days right before school begins. And the purpose of it is just to get to know a lot of students who don't necessarily come from your faculty or live in your residence or do other things like that. It's a chance to meet all students. Currently we have about 1,600 students registered as of now, hopefully maybe a few more. It's going to be an interesting weekend. We've got a sort of an adventurous military theme this year, and so we'll be going whitewater rafting. We have a climbing wall coming in. Students can try some rock climbing. We also have inline skates and some ultimate frisbee games. As well, there's some evening events going on, some parties and some social activities.
Because there is so much at McGill, over 150 student clubs. I don't think that even includes the various clubs within the faculties. There's a lot of things to do.
If there isn't something that a student would like to see here, then we have all sorts of channels available for that student to found what they would like to see themselves.
Extraordinary location for a university, yet students can live in relatively inexpensive quarters within easy and safe walking distance of the university.
What we find is that most students from out of town do choose to live in residences during their first year. And I think that provides an easy transition into a new city and into a new university experience. So most of our students have been very happy that they've done that in first year. But after first year, they really want to get out of residence. And they want to live on their own or with fellow students. And most of them choose to live off campus in heritage neighborhoods, in Montreal, right near the campus.
It was frightening at first. I had been to Montreal before, luckily, so I had familiarized myself a little bit with the place. But you show up at residence the first day, and the elevator opens, and there's this great crowd of people waiting to, escort you to your room. And that's just the greatest way, to be welcomed into a place.
Montreal, I knew that they had a jazz festival because I played the saxophone and I've been in jazz bands for years, so I knew about the International Jazz Festival.
If you walk downtown from the campus at 11 o'clock at night onto St. Catherine Street, that's busier than most American streets in the middle of the day. It's an extraordinary phenomenon of Montreal. It's very busy, very pedestrian-oriented city. People like to walk, got very good public transportation. So people get around on foot. And there's a life, a vibrance to the city that is really very refreshing. And that's why students like to come to Montreal.
It has, in this city you can find theater, you can find classical music, you can find opera.
I didn't realize that there were so many students in this city. There's over 100,000 students and 4 universities in total, plus quite a few other places. And I guess I found that out when I was at the mayor's reception on Montreal International Students' Day. All new international students from all over Montreal are invited there
and it's a great chance to meet other people.
Moi, j'avais certaines craintes, justement parce que je savais que les cours se donnaient en anglais, mais on peut quand même faire nos examens et nos travaux écrits en français, ce qui est bien aussi parce que les professeurs sont bilingues. Moi, j'ai terminé mon bac, vous voyez, puis là, j'étais en niveau de la maîtrise, à McGill toujours. Puis je suis très fière d'être capable de maîtriser 2 langues à la perfection, parlée et écrite.
Combination of extracurricular and academic experiences that I had at McGill, I feel that I've been very well prepared to succeed, and I'm only a year out of school, but things are going well.
Take a close look at the students you'll be studying with. They will be your friends for life. That is a proven fact. As I work now in the area of alumni relations, I realize as I see returning classes every year for reunions that these people have kept in touch with each other throughout their lives. And it's a very meaningful relationship that they've had.
I think I benefited an enormous amount from having been to McGill, and I kind of think I owe. Now you start off thinking you should do it because you owe it, and you find out that you really like it. So.
And if you want to visit the university campus, the Welcome Centers are natural stop just inside of the campus gates. It's a great place if you want to come in to find out information about our student tour program, the Student for a Day program that we offer, to pick up brochures and printed literature about the university, or just have general questions answered about McGill.